morning. Today is December 10th, and this is The View with Catherine Chang. Today's topic is how KMT echoes with CCP. First, there is a strange atmosphere in Taiwan's political arena now, and that is KMT, the largest opposition party in Taiwan, seems to echo with the Chinese Communist Party and turn itself like a People's Republic of China's KMT, not a Taiwan KMT. And why? Because KMT kind of echoes with the CCP on different major issues. First, KMT frees the MOFA's budget of join the CPTPP, and second, the KMT also claims to freeze the budget of Taiwan's first indigenous submarine unless the Navy reveals its content. This is ridiculous because the construction of indigenous submarine is top secret. How can it be released? In addition, KMT also opposed the policy of fighting against the property flipping. And these policies are for Taiwanese young people to get affordable apartments. And why are KMT against it? What happened to the KMT? Here are some points. A. Let's look at KMT chairman Jiang Qi-cheng. We know that, he's criticized as a broker face in Taiwan because on one hand, Jiang Qi-cheng said that Taiwan should actively join the CPTPP, but on the other hand, he completely freezes the budget for joining the CPTPP. The DPP legislators just announced that the KMT has two ways to block Taiwan's entry into the international organizations, and one is to freeze the CPTPP budget, and the other is to oppose the import of U.S. pork with retobomy. Because if the U.S. pork does not implement it as scheduled, it will be difficult for Taiwan to negotiate the BDA with other countries, and so does join CPTPP. Since the Chinese Communist Party consistently blocks Taiwan from international organizations, is the KMT echoing with the CCP? B. Another exaggerated action by KMT is that it required the military to release the content of the indigenous submarine. Otherwise, it will freeze the $8 billion NT dollars budget. But the problem is the indigenous submarine is extremely confidential, and some of the techniques are even authorized by the United States military. To announce the content, it's just like directly leaking the information to China. Is KMT stupid, or it just do it on purpose? C. As to the issue of poverty flipping, we know that the main purpose for Taiwanese government to do so is to make houses affordable for young people. However, we know that Fei Hongtai, he is about to be the KMT caucus whip in the legislative yuan, and he said that young people will be very worried about this policy. It is totally wrong. We know that young people are not worried at all. On the contrary, they are very happy and they are very supportive for this policy. Do you know why? Well, take Taipei City, for example. You can only buy a property if you don't spend any money for 20 years. And that is what we say in Taiwan, 20年不吃不喝. You don't eat or drink for 20 years. If the KMT keeps echoing with the CCP, to tell you the truth, I'm not optimistic about the KMT's 2022 mayoral election. Besides that, there's a breaking news today, and that is the 17 U.S. states joined Texas to file lawsuit against 4 swing states, and they asked the Supreme Court not to count the 62 electoral votes. If the 62 electoral votes flip over to Donald Trump, then Trump is likely to win. Well, we can see over here, they are the 4 swing states. We know that currently Biden got 306 votes, and Trump has 232 votes. If you add 62 to Trump, it will be 294. But will it happen? We will see. Here are the top stories. Today, we have 4 confirmed cases. They are all imported, and they came from Indonesia and the Philippines. First, I want to talk about the diplomatic week journey of President Tsai. President Tsai had 3 international dialogues in a week, and today she joined the Hudson Institute year-end celebration and delivered a speech. President Tsai said that, she said the PRC has worked to shut the 23 million people of Taiwan out of international organizations, included matters of health, aviation safety, international police cooperation, etc. And she also said they are also engaged in disinformation and malign influence campaigns that are designed to cast doubt on our institutions and test weakness in our democracy. Actually, the first international dialogue was started on December 8th, and that is 220. We're talking about the 2020 Taiwan-U.S.-Japan Trilateral Indo-Pacific Security Dialogue. President Tsai said that Taiwan either defends democracy or succumb to the threat of authoritarianism. Also, U.S. former Assistant Secretary of State for East Asia and Pacific Affairs, Campbell, said that the era of not understanding the importance of Taiwan, it's over. And on December 9th, in the 2020 NDI Celebration of Democracy Gala, we're talking about the ex-President Tsai, both Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives Nancy Pelosi and former U.S. Secretary of State O'Brien attended the meeting. On the other hand, Forbes published an article with the title, "If China Invades Taiwan, Taipei plans to throw 1,000 tanks at the beachhead." And it said that, the Taiwanese army on paper proposes will have around 1,200 main battle tanks. Any tank, no matter how genetic, and it will pose a direct threat to protected Chinese infantry clinging to a narrow beachhead. Well, there is a big development in the United States presidential election today. According to CNBC, 17 states told Supreme Court they would support Texas' bid to reverse Biden win. And the following backing Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton after he asked the Supreme Court for permission to sue Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, all of which Biden won over their voting processes. On the other hand, according to CNN, federal criminal investigation into Hunter Biden focused on his business dealings in China. And this includes whether Hunter Biden violated tax and money laundering laws in business dealing in foreign countries. And we'll talk about that principally China. Well, what will happen to Biden's inauguration? According to Forbes, Republican leaders blocked a congressional recognition of Biden's inauguration. JCCIC had a vote on December 8, and they failed to recognize Biden's inaugurations on January 20th because 3 Republican senators and 3 Democrat senators came to a deadlock. The Electoral College will vote on December 14th. If they couldn't come to a conclusion, then the U.S. Congress will make the final decision, which means that it will be kind of in Trump's favor because there are more Republican senators in the Congress than Democrat senators. Well, in the end, I will share with you President Tsai invite Japanese artists to come to Taiwan for a birthday next year, and his name is Yoshimoto Nara. Well, this is Yoshimoto Nara over here, and this is what his work, one of his artworks, knife behind back. Well, Nara treated that. Well, I have received so many birthday messages since last weekend. And what surprised me most is that I received a message from President Tsai. And actually over here, this is a message and kind of interesting. In response, President Tsai said that and said, please send your next birthday in Taiwan next year. Well, that would be very sweet, isn't it? That will be the view for today. This is Catherine from Taipei, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.